I get it. When you're hunting for a home NAS, the first thing you see is a ton of cheap, off-brand boxes promising unlimited storage for a fraction of the price, and most of the time those promises end in a nightmare of data loss, constant reboots, or a device that can't keep up with a single 4K stream. That hesitation is real, and it's why I spent a weekend setting up the DiscTech DS725 Plus the way a small business or a serious creator would, just to see if it actually feels like a smarter buy rather than another regret waiting in the drawer. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The DS725 Plus is a 2-bay combo that ships with two 8TB drives, 4GB of DDR4 ECC RAM, and a 2.5 GB Ethernet port. Those numbers look impressive on paper, but the true test is how they translate to everyday tasks like backing up a media library, streaming footage to multiple devices, or running a modest Docker container for a home lab. I set it up in a corner of my home office, plugged the Ethernet straight into my router, and let the initial sync run while I watched a couple of 4K movies from my Plex server. By the time the sync finished, the NAS was already serving those movies without any buffering, even when a family member started a Zoom call on a separate device. One of the biggest worries people have with any NAS is data integrity. The DS725 Plus uses ECC, error-correcting code, memory, which isn't something you see on every consumer-grade unit. In practice, that means the system can automatically detect and fix single-bit memory errors before they corrupt files. For anyone who's ever lost a photo because a cheap box decided to reformat after a power surge, that little safety net is a huge psychological win. I simulated a brief power cut with a smart plug, and the unit powered back up, recognized the drives, and resumed services without any manual intervention. No disk not found messages, no need to re-import the library. Connectivity is another area where the DS725 Plus tries to stand out. The 2.5 GB port doubles the throughput compared to the standard 1 GB you see on most budget NAS devices. In my test, moving a 500 GB collection of raw photos from a Windows PC to the NAS took roughly half the time it would have on a 1 GB link. That speed gain matters if you're regularly handling large video files or if you have several devices pulling data at once. However, the catch is that you need a compatible router or switch to actually see those speeds. On a plain 1 GB network, the NAS will fall back gracefully, but you won't reap the full benefit. The processor inside the DS725 Plus is a modest but capable Intel Celeron, enough to run Plex transcoding for a couple of 1080p streams simultaneously. I tested transcoding a 4K movie down to 1080p on a tablet, and the CPU stayed well below 50% utilization, leaving headroom for background tasks like snapshot backups. That's useful if you're not just storing files but also using the NAS as a media hub. On the other hand, if you plan to run heavy workloads, say, multiple 4K transcodes, AI inference, or a full-blown virtual machine environment, you'll quickly feel the limits. The unit isn't built for that level of compute, and the 4 GB of RAM will become a bottleneck. Who should buy this thing? If you're a photographer, videographer, or hobbyist who needs a reliable, always-in repository for terabytes of work, the DS725 Plus hits a sweet spot. The pre-installed 16 terabytes of storage means you can drop a new external drive in, copy your files, and you're done. No need to buy drives separately or spend time configuring RAID from scratch. The ECC memory and dual bay design also make it a solid choice for small offices that need simple file sharing and a bit of app hosting without the overhead of a full server rack. It's especially appealing if you already have a gigabit or 2.5 GB network and want to squeeze more performance out of it. Who should skip it? If you're just looking for a cheap backup target for a single laptop, you'll probably be overpaying. The DS725 Plus starts at a price point where a pair of external SSDs with a basic 1 GB enclosure could do the job for far less, albeit without the ECC RAM or the built-in redundancy. Likewise, power users who intend to run multiple Docker containers, heavy transcoding, or large-scale virtual machines will find the hardware modest. In those cases, a higher-end Synology or QNAP with a more powerful CPU and upgradable RAM would be a better fit. Let's talk about some practical strengths that become evident after the first month of use. The versatile design isn't just a marketing phrase. The front panel has quick-release drive trays that let you swap drives without tools, which is a lifesaver when a drive starts making that ominous ticking sound. The built-in snapshot feature lets you roll back a folder to its state from 3 days ago, protecting you from accidental deletions. I accidentally deleted a folder of wedding photos on my Mac.